Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. The Selectmen's meeting for the Town of Acton, Maine for May 27th, 2020. First item is salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of
America,
and to the republic
for
for which it stands,
which it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty,
and justice for all.
for all.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. First item is item 2, Town Administrator Update. Jen, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So not too many things tonight because we've been working on trying to get everything back up to speed at the town hall and working on the warrant. That's been our top priority. In regards to the warrant, I wanted to let you know that we did send back to legal Maine Municipal the top piece of the warrant, the opening piece of it that asked for, the constable to warn inhabitants of said town of Acton to, assemble. Someone had mentioned that the word assemble might not be okay based on the governor's orders. So we sent that over to legal. They made 1 or 2 minor changes, but that piece is done. So the only change that he made was we've in the past had the constable request them to call the town together, and that's been changed to require them to call the town together. So that was really the minor change. So
Okay.
wanted to just kind of put it out there that we just got notified that all motor vehicle branches are opening back up starting on Monday, June 1st. They are going by appointment, but they will be back opening on June 1st. So good information to have. Reached out to one of the road commissioners today. We have a gentleman approached me about a sign for it's at Brays Lane, B-R-A-I-S. It doesn't have a sign. It says he hasn't had a sign for some time, so we've got that ordered. And when I was on the phone with that road commissioner, he asked me to order an updated one for 7th Street as well, now that it's a town road, because it'll change the color of it. So we'll put that order in. O'Donnell's did touch base with me today. We pulled a couple hundred property cards for them. As you know from the letter that you read last week, they're going to start doing their field work. Yep. They are meeting us at the town hall tomorrow morning at 9 to get those cards and start going door to door. Just a reminder to everybody that they do have big magnets on the car. They're going to honk the horn when they pull in. They've got identification. They've got the letter with my signature and the town seal on it. So, they're going to do the best they can. Obviously, within this time, they're not going inside anybody's house. So they'll be out in the field starting tomorrow. Town report is at print, so we're waiting for that. I sent out an email to staff today with a few things based on conversations with the treasurer. We need to track the exact hours that worked over the last few months so that we could figure out PTO time. So that was in the email. I had asked for a mapping update from the employee that was working on it from home, so she did send that over to me today. I would like to go over it. There's over 3,000 parcels. I am requesting that one of the Board of Selectmen sit through that with me, just so that you can kind of see the, any inaccuracies or issues that we have between the mapping and Trio and figure out the best way to handle it. I think it would be helpful if a third person sat in on it. Yep. Kim's the liaison. Well, I'd say Kim's the liaison. That, yeah, I guess it's kind of, CEO related. So I guess I could see if something works for her, if that's okay with you guys.
Yep.
They had also asked for the purchase of a Microsoft Word program. They had sent an email saying that one of the computers downstairs, the new one, didn't have Microsoft Word on it. So I had to get permission from the board first because the line was overdrawn, if you recall. So I ordered the program the very next day. When you order programs like that through Staples, it's all electronic now. They send you a link to download it. So that took a couple of days for Staples to get it. It automatically, the Staples goes directly to the treasurer. So Monday was a holiday. I got an email this morning looking for the program. Michelle sent it over to me. I did go downstairs today and try to install it, but there seems to be some locked passwords on there, so I'm working with that department to figure out why that is, and hopefully we'll have that installed the next day or two. Melson Lake, foot of the lake, we've been told is open. Even with the recommendation from the 2 towns, they've decided to go ahead and open it. As I understand it, they were quite busy this past weekend. getting a lot of calls from residents that are concerned and want to know what the Board of Selectmen are doing in conjunction with the governor and the local law enforcement to, figure out how they can, check on this 14-day quarantine. There's a lot of residents that are reaching out saying that they're certain that, their neighbor hasn't been here. They just pulled in for the first time. They saw him in the grocery store. They see him at the town hall. And, short of passing along to you, I'm not, I don't know really what else to say.
There's nothing we can do about it, really.
And
I was in York this past weekend, and it was virtually like a ghost town. Up through York and Agunquit. I get up here to the foot of the lake. It looked like 4th of July weekend in 2016. It was no different than any other time, and social distancing was happening best they could. But I went up to my camp, which is 2 miles from my house here, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that everybody that was there with the mass flights has not been there for 14 days. And if they were planning on staying for 14 days, I'm sure an emergency came up and they had to go home Monday. So, I don't know what we can do.
Well, and I'm not giving you any advice on. I'm just telling you what the residents are saying to me. So they believe, some of the residents believe that you have the authority, because the governor has put this order in place, that you have the authority to call local law enforcement and have them enforce it.
Yep.
And because
they have the same ability to do the same thing.
Yep.
They can call law enforcement if they believe a law has been broken.
Okay.
We're not
policemen.
No, and honestly, that's a Shapley deal, anyways. That's in Shapley, isn't it?
But once you cross over the bridge, it now becomes Acton. So
and those two kind of ran together. That the Melson Lake was open, period, and I'm getting calls. So
yeah.
All right, so we're just going to tell them to call directly. I mean, what else?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
We can't chase down every person from another state and see whether or not that's not our job. And obviously, if our governor has obviously made it, we can't do what she wants us to do. I mean, we can't run around seeing every plate that comes across the Acton line, whether or not they're going to quarantine for 14 days. It's impossible.
Yeah. So.
You're welcome. So, Ed, did you have a chance to sign the Goat Hill document?
I did.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep, I've been to the town hall. I've signed everything.
Yep, perfect, thank you. I think I missed putting it out there. Well, there's a delay.
I had a signed copy here at the house last week. So.
And I think the delay is I didn't want to put it in the box, not knowing if you'd sign it, to look like I was assuming you'd sign it. You know what I mean? So I didn't wait. I waited till after the meeting, and anyways, I need to get that out tomorrow. Thank you.
Signed it tonight.
Thank you. I'm not going back though.
That's okay.
So in regards to June meeting, so we're going to talk about the voter letter that you guys kind of asked me to put together. Is it your intention to not have any Board of Selectmen meetings in the town hall in the month of June?
That's my intention. Yeah, I think we keep going the way we're going right now through June.
Yeah, we're stuck at 50 people max, right? Right through July. Right into July, right?
Right.
So, I mean,
until that gets lifted, I think this is the way we're going to go.
We're at the point now where, honestly, unless it becomes where we can open up to all the public, there's no restriction, we're going to have to stick doing this, because if for some unfortunate reason everybody decides to show up, and then we can't send anybody away.
No.
So I'm just trying to figure out for planning, and depending on when we start, the next thing we need to talk about is reopening the town hall. I'm just trying to figure out how the Wednesdays are going to look for me as far as where you're going to Zoom from. And the July public here, so July we're also going to be at 50. June and July were 50, and I was just pulling up the stages just to confirm that I'm correct on that. Unless that changes. And did you see today that, so effective June 1st, the restaurants were supposed to be able to open June 1st, and that got pulled back today.
Yep, I saw that.
So is it Androscoggin, York, and Cumberland County?
Yep.
They were supposed to and I feel bad. I've heard so many advertisements saying that, June 1st, they've set the table 6 feet apart. They're kind of ready to go.
Ordered food, they've hired staff, and there they go again. Yep.
So as far as the letter and the public hearing, so I'm not looking for a decision for the July meetings, but that July 8th, and don't quote me on the date, for the public hearing for the warrant, that will definitely be via Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I need to know.
Yeah, because I mean, if we get 51 people in, we're out of luck. So,
Right.
Yeah. So,
So are you thinking that, and it's just, I mean, we don't have to make decisions tonight, but are we thinking that if it stays at 50, that we may do this through July?
I would think, yeah. I would say we keep doing this until they up it from 50 to unlimited, I guess.
I agree with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so opening of the town hall. So we originally, the last time we talked about the town hall, we had put it through the end of May, so we're basically there. The months are just flying by, and we kind of said that we'd wait and see what the governor was doing, what surrounding towns were doing. I can tell you that Sanford is back open. They've got somebody at the front door monitoring. They're letting 3 people in at a time based on the number of staff and the square footage they have. Shapley is still doing appointment only for 1 more week. June 8th, they're opening up. All the doors will be unlocked, and everything will be spaced out. So I guess I kind of need input from the board as far as we've been working on appointment only now for about 3 weeks.
Yep.
And that will be this week as well. What are you thinking?
Dave?
Well, do you think right now, the way it's working right now, you're achieving what you need to achieve?
In my office?
Yeah. With the appointments. I mean, if Sanford's doing 3, I mean, they've got, I don't know, 5 windows open up in there. I mean, and they're only letting 3 in at a time. I would like to continue doing it the way we're doing it right now for a little longer. I think that might be the thing to do. I think we were ahead of the curve a little bit on the appointment only, and I think if the other towns are doing the same thing, I think we'd be just as well off to continue doing what we're doing for right now. But you're only doing appointments Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Yeah. So I guess and just for clarity for anybody watching this, I did send emails out to the entire staff and said, this is what I'm going to propose. This is what I'm thinking. If anybody has any input, please reach out. I mean, you need to hear what the staff is thinking, and I didn't hear back from anybody. So, and everybody received that email.
Could you go ahead and open our normal days of operation, but still do appointment only through, what's Shapley doing right now? They're opening all together?
So we're giving staff, and we have a similar situation in Acton, we've given staff a week's notice for daycare purposes. Yep. Because we've been on somewhat of a part-time, and we do have they need to kind of know when they're expected. So staff in Shapley have been told that Monday, June 8th, we go back to regular schedule. Everybody turns in their own timesheets. You're back at it. You're earning PTO. You're doing everything the way that it used to be, June 8th. So that effective at our meeting last night, we gave them a week's notice so that they could have time to work it out. I definitely think that the town needs to go back to regular hours. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem doing by appointment only. It's going to be, how far apart are those appointments scheduled? Are the doors locked?
Right.
The only issue I'm having, take Sanford for instance, okay, they're having someone at the door, okay, to regulate who's coming through. Unless we have somebody at the door doing the same thing, by doing it by the appointment only, that makes it so you don't have to worry about that person being outside to regulate. If you open the doors up, tell people to social distance, and people just start piling in, then where are you at that point? I mean, myself, I like to see this over with.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, the thing is that, the clerk's office obviously isn't the only department in the building. And
that's what part of the problem too, is if we open you guys up, we have to open up we ought to be opening up the other departments also.
I think that based on square footage that we can allow more than one person in the building. I mean, let's say, with code enforcement, I mean, if there are 3 staff members and there's enough space can't there be 3 different appointments going on there?
I would think so. Yeah, I'd like to go back to full, all the days of operation as normal.
Full service.
Yeah, full service, but maybe keep the appointments in place until, I don't know, the middle of June? And reevaluate at that point?
That means you want the doors locked.
Yeah, appointments only. Yeah.
So appointments only or by chance? I mean, if there's no appointment going on or you've got 20 minutes or your first appointment left a little sooner, is there any reason that someone can't be snuck in if there's nobody waiting?
You can sneak someone in. Yeah. So
well, that's the way I look at it.
I guess, how do you want to do it? How do you want to do it, Jen? Do you want to open up fully, or do you want to just do appointments?
I want to make sure that every customer that comes to any door of the town of Acton is helped.
Right.
That's what I want to make sure of.
We're in the service business. That's what we.
That's what you know what I mean. And I'm not insinuating anything in any way, and I'm not getting into this on here. And you know what I mean. But my goal, as clerk, as administrator, is that when somebody comes to the office for anything, and that we do our best. And I'm sure we all are. I'm just trying to find a way to keep staff safe, but not turn them away either.
Right.
So if, like with us upstairs, and I would think this would be the same downstairs, is that if we're scheduling appointments, I know I've got appointments scheduled for us, it's every 15 minutes. Certainly it's going to be different downstairs, but every 15 minutes upstairs. So if somebody shows up and doesn't have an appointment, I can walk outside with my mask and gloves on, realize you don't have an appointment, you didn't understand it, you didn't have a chance to call, fine, what do you need to do? I can take that information and I can go to the other window, do the transaction, and run it out to them. I want to see the same happening downstairs. If the appointments are needed with the code enforcement officer or the deputy code enforcement officer, you still have another staff member there that could chase copies, chase files, or provide information as needed. So it's by appointment or by chance, by walk-in. I mean, I'm fine with leaving the doors locked because I want to keep everybody safe and we don't want everybody running around any of the offices. But I just want to make sure that we're, doing everything we can.
Okay.
So
I guess with that,
So next week we stick with the regular schedule, so we give everybody a week's notice.
Yep.
We'll continue to do appointments only Tuesday and Thursday of next week. Starting June 8th, all staff will be required to work their regular hours, right?
Yep.
We'll do I was looking for a calendar behind me. We'll do, all right, so June 8th. So at that point, we might as well do the 3 weeks in June. There's, so at the June 24th meeting, we can revisit it. So that's 3 weeks of everybody working regular schedule, but appointments can be made any hours of the town hall, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, or Friday.
Yep.
And we will just reiterate that we do our best, anybody that walks up, to do what we can.
Yep.
Does that seem fair? I mean,
sounds good to me.
By keeping the doors locked, we're still keeping the staff safe, and we've got the dividers, we have, and I sent an email today, like that divider, if you've been in downstairs, how they have it sectioned off, that divider, I can put one of those at each one of the office desks downstairs, so that if somebody does walk in for something. But people can come in the building, correct?
Yep.
And everybody's wearing masks, still gloves, doing what we can.
Yep. It's time to get back open.
All right, that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good. Warrants and bills I've signed. I think I saw Dave's signature in there.
Yeah, Kim will be in tomorrow.
Okay. So those are all signed and ready to go.
Thank you.
Approval of the agenda. Do we hear a motion to approve the agenda?
I'm looking for it here. I just want to make sure I get the right date. I'm ahead of myself again. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for May 27th.
I will second that, since Kim isn't with us tonight. So it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, Dave?
Yay.
Yep, and I vote yes. So that is all set. Minutes of the last meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, May 20th.
Okay, now second it. Moved and seconded to approve May 20th minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Dave?
Yay.
And I vote yes. Okay, department heads and committee chair. I believe the transfer station is up. So, Bob, welcome.
Hey, thanks. So I assume I was invited to this meeting tonight to talk about the Sunday opening.
Yes, and tell us a little bit about your handouts and how all that's been going and how your new employee is going without mentioning names.
Oh, new employee is excellent. He does a nice job. He pays attention. He's willing to work. Don't have to speak to him. No, he's very good. And the handout's been going out, and whether people are going to read them or not, I don't know. But I guess my concern with the Sunday thing is, right now, and it's been 2 occasions that we've ended up on a Saturday when we leave with the can full and the hopper full. So if you opened up on Sunday, you wouldn't have any place to put your trash because Triano doesn't do Saturday or Sunday runs to change that can out. So I guess my thinking is we're pulling the recycling out of it now, which is going to alleviate a little bit of it, but not much. We're already been pulling the cardboard out of it, which we do 2 bales a week of cardboard we're pulling out. So if that was going in it, we'd really be in trouble. So I guess I need some guidance from you guys as to what you want me to do. My thoughts are on it, that seeing the summer people are here now, and a lot of them are staying, this would be our first Sunday opening this coming Sunday. Let's do a test trial this Saturday to see what we end up with on Saturday. And if we end up with a full can and a full hopper, and I have to call up Jim Punske if we were going to open on Sunday to come up with a 40-yard dumpster. And just from past experience, that we've had a couple of occasions that we had to do this on a busy, like 4th of July weekend before. Well, we would well more than fill that 40-yard dumpster, even packing it in with a skid steer. If I remember right, we got probably 3.5 to 4 tons in that 40-yard container. That's even packing it with a skid steer. So I don't know. I guess I'm just looking to see how you guys feel about this opening on Sunday. And I don't mind opening on Sundays, but I'm thinking with the summer starting, let's test it to see where we're at, and then make a decision of where we think we need to go. Because you know what, 4th of July weekend, from then on, I think we should be open on Sundays, but we got to find out what we need to do to be open on Sundays.
Now, can you get an extra can in advance or no?
They won't, Triano would have to come and change the can.
Oh, so they won't just put one somewhere?
They won't come and change the can. I've already asked them this question. They won't come and change the can on a Saturday.
Would Punske change the can?
You know, Punske possibly could change the can. If Triano will let us have a can.
We've only got 1 can, right?
Right. And it's their can. We don't own the can.
Okay.
We think it's extra trash generated because people are staying home more?
I would say so. That's my assumption. I have no other reason to think of any other reason why there would be more trash.
That's it exactly. I got the same situation.
I did a little analysis on what we did last year for the month of April and what we did this year for the month of April. And right now we were for the month of April 11.2 tons over last year's.
Wow.
1 can.
And then for this month, I've only seen the slip for 2 loads that came back for the month of May, the first 2 loads, and that was 3.7 tons for just those 2 loads over last year.
Yeah.
So it's a hell of an increase.
Yeah, I would see if Triano would give us another can, knowing that they're not going to come down on a Saturday or Sunday to change it.
Right.
But see if Punske would change the can. All they got to do is pull it out, set it aside, and slide the other one in.
Now, and I'll have to also ask Triano, because chances are it's going to be an extra fee,
right?
Because they're going to be making a trip with nothing on,
right?
So they'll be deadheading on one of those trips.
Now, I guess just for what's your schedule right now up there? You're open up what days exactly?
We're open on Monday from 8 to 2, Wednesday
8 to 2.
10 to 4, and Saturday from 8 to 4.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just trying to think of some other solution here, because the problem, like you said, if you bring another container up, it's probably gonna get filled up anyways, more than filled up, so you're really not solving much of a problem, because you're still gonna have more trash and you know what to do with on Sunday. Whether or not we, instead of opening up on Sunday, I know Sunday's convenient because everybody's leaving to go down, going home or whatever, but if it's for the people that have come up here and are staying up here, what if we opened up on a Friday and a Saturday and not opened up Sunday? Would that alleviate some of the,
I don't know what a Friday would get you though, David, because they'd have to come Friday.
if you have a notice saying that they can't come on Sunday, you know, that maybe some of the people will come a day early instead of bombarding the place on Saturday.
I don't think they're going to be here.
Well, maybe not.
I think that's.
I gotta tell you that the Sunday people that we get, a lot of times, the people that used to come on Saturdays, and they come on Sundays, I think probably because it's a little bit less traffic. I mean, right now we got traffic going down the road, which I don't know. Maybe that's a safety hazard even. I don't know, but.
Yeah, I would find out first off if we can get another can. They probably will charge us a little more the first round to get it to us. But from that point on, they can still come in with we just keep 2 cans going.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the year.
Would you be better off would it look better to the residents to say, we're closing at noontime on Sunday because now the can is full? At least you've made the attempt to bring the second can in and you've kept it open as long as you can. If you got to close early because it's full, then, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
well,
we don't open till noontime on Sunday.
Oh, you don't open till noon. So maybe you're saying that you think.
You dropped off, Jen. We missed you. We lost you. Everybody still there, or is it me?
I'm here.
Okay. Jen's frozen. I would think if we had that extra can sitting there, you're not going to fill that extra can on a Sunday because you're going to be, about 11 ton to fill it, and you're only filling a 40 yard at about 4 ton.
Yeah, so if we had an extra can there, Jim would come up, which we're assuming that he'd come up and change it at this point.
Yeah, we'd have to
If
find
he
out.
could have been changed it, then we got a can that we put in on Sunday, and so Triano usually comes on Monday mornings and picks up the can.
Right, they would pick up the full can from Saturday.
Picking up a partial load on in a can.
Or they'd be picking up the full can from Saturday.
He usually picks up the can from Saturday on Monday morning.
On Mondays, okay.
Right.
Okay.
We got an empty can on Monday morning, which we use for Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then they pick it up again on either Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, I guess we just have to see how, if you have 2 cans sitting there, just see how they fill. You at least got a backup.
Mm-hmm.
Will the skid steer pull a can forward?
It probably would, but you can't move it around really.
No, but if you just pulled it forward, and if we had the other can sitting beside it, and you could just laterally slide the other can over.
I don't know how you'd laterally slide it over.
Well, they're on one end's on wheels and one end's on a skid, right?
Well, both ends are on wheels.
Okay.
And you'd have to try to pick the thing up with a skid steer, slide it over, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to try to get into that and damage some piece of their equipment.
That's
kind of scary.
That's one thing too that you got to remember too, is if we ask Punske to hook onto somebody else's container, Triano might not be too keen on somebody else's hooking onto their stuff. So you also got to look at that. So that might not work either.
But if they're not coming down to change it, and we got an issue, that's the other side. Maybe we should just be buying a can.
Well,
so you still have to haul it. That's the problem.
Triano will haul your can.
I got a permanent solution for you.
Yeah.
We put another compactor in.
Yep.
And we have our own can.
Yep.
And I've already spoken to Atlantic Recycling.
Where'd you get that idea from, Bob?
You and my conversation. So listen, and I did ask him if they had any rental ones.
Yeah.
They do not have a rental one.
Yeah, you'd have to buy one.
You might be able to get a lease. Well, they do have them, but they're out, I guess. But he says you might be able to do something with a lease, but then you're tied into it for a year.
Right.
And I threw some things around with him today, and you could get a stationary compactor, which you back a can up to, or you get one of those compactors that is all one unit, the key and the unit all together.
Yeah.
And
Who'd you talk to down there?
I talked to Jim,
Okay.
and he said something about if you want to come down and take a look. I said, well, you know what? I said, there's a guy that the selectman, he worked right next door to you guys, so maybe he and I can go over there and you and I can go over there and look around someday.
Yeah, anytime. Just let me know when you want to do it. I'm too.
And they have a used one down there that, you know, a stationary one. It's like $6,500. By the time you do the electrical and the setup and stuff, you got 10 grand in it. But I'm really not real keen on used equipment.
Yeah, their used equipment usually is they go through it. I bought a large baler from them a year and a half ago to the tune of, well, we were about 25,000 by the time we were done,
Mm-hmm.
and it's worked out well. So yeah.
I'm just not a big.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Sometimes you buy somebody else's problems, and
Yeah.
But anyway, it's food for thought later.
Yep.
Let's go back to our original thing, as to what we're
gonna do for Sundays.
What's that?
I see. So what are we gonna do for Sundays?
I know, that's my question to you.
Yeah.
You know, I still say I'd like to get our feet wet for a couple of weeks. No, I'm not saying we're not open for Sundays for the summer. But let's give it a couple of weeks and get our feet wet and see what we get for trash coming in on the Saturdays and stuff, and see what we got for an overflow. And like I say, you know, if push comes to shove, yeah, I'll call up Jim. Jim's very accommodating when it comes to getting a can in there. And if I have to get a can in there to put some trash into, and he even told me if you reel into real mine, you can put some of your trash in a demo bin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah. See how it goes, I guess, and we'll play it by ear that way.
Okay, so we will or we will not be open on Sunday.
You want to be open on Sundays, right?
Well, like I say, I'd like to give it a couple weeks to see what we get for Saturday's trash, and then do it. But you know, if you want, if he wants to be open.
No, Ed. He wants to close the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
I was confused on that too.
Let's get our feet wet, see what's going to be coming in, and put this all together before we dive into it.
Okay. I've seen a lot of posts on the town, well, not the town, but on the What's Up in Acton page about when's the transfer station going to be open on Sundays. So,
And like I said earlier, from past experience and what I see come in, a lot of time it's not necessarily the summer people come in. It's a lot of local people that come in on Sunday. They used to come in on Saturday. But.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do it however you want, Bob.
Would you be better? I mean, instead of. So, I mean, you're going to make the determination in advance, or are you going to be canceling on Saturday only if it's full?
No, we're not going to do any cancellations if it's full. If it's, let's say it happens to be, we're going to give it 2 weeks to see what we get on Saturday now that summer's here, and we have a lot of the summer people here. So we're going to give it 2 weeks, see where we're at, see what kind of trash we get in on Saturday, and then we'll make a determination. But we will be open after the 2 weeks on a Sunday. Come hell or high water.
So just for notice purposes.
For noticing purposes, I'd say that it's going to open on whatever day that would fall on. That would be the 3rd.
You're going to be closed the 7th and the 14th, which are the 2 first Sundays in June.
You keep breaking up, Jen.
I'm not sure what connection. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. I'm not moving.
So anyways, the first Sunday is this coming Sunday. So what's the date on that?
No, this first Sunday is the 31st of May.
So that's the first Sunday we'll be open.
Oh, you are? I thought you started in June.
No, we start the Sunday after Memorial Day.
Okay. So May 31st, the transfer station is closed.
Right, and what's the next one?
The 7th.
The 7th. So the 1st and the 7th will be closed. After that, we'll be open because we'll know what we're going to have to deal with, and we'll have things in place to do it.
So you're reopening on it. So the Sundays is just essentially going to be delayed 2 weeks.
Delayed 2 weeks.
Okay. And the board's okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it, Bob. I'll start making some flyers.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I go now?
Anything else, Bob?
Not really. No, everything's cool.
Okay.
And maybe I could get my liaison Dave to sometime come up to the transfer station, because if later on down the road we decide we want to put in another compactor, take a look at it and see if it's even feasible.
Oh, I was going to come up this weekend, Bob, but I didn't want to come up there, and I knew you guys were going to be busy, so I wanted to meet the new guy anyways.
Yeah, you can come up anytime. But anyways, the whole traffic pattern up there is screwed up.
Yeah.
It just opposite of what it should be. So
yeah, it's very tight up there.
Yeah, it's tight, and the traffic pattern goes the wrong way. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay.
Okay.
I'm good.
Very good. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye, Bob.
Okay, moving on. Old business. Article 43.
Okay, so there are a couple of people from the road committee here, and I have an email from the chair. So is it okay if I have the road committee if I unmute them and have them turn their cameras on?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody should be able to hear me. So not everybody's screen name matches your real name. So if I don't unmute you and ask you to turn your camera on, I need you to go to that chat box in the bottom right-hand corner, because some of them just say laptop, and I have no idea who that is. So I just opened up Jay Ward because his name represented that. So I'm going to assume this is Mrs. Hart. Let's see. Cindy, can you hear me? Cindy? Dan, can you take a look at the Rich Hart? All right, so as far as I can tell, Mr. Poyant, Mr. Waterhouse, is he on the road committee? He's not on the road committee, is he? No. Mr. Long, road committee?
Junior, third.
Yeah, Denny.
Denny is.
I'm going to unmute. Dennis, I'm unmuting you. Is Denny there with you by chance on behalf of the road committee?
No.
All right, I'm putting you back on mute. I've got a Virginia. I don't think there's any Virginias on there. Joyce isn't on the road committee, is she? RNA, Mr. Martell? Or Mr. Murray? Jay, is he on your committee? Oh, I can't hear you. Still can't hear you.
He may need to unmute himself.
Try unmuting yourself, Jay.
He's muted now.
Oh, there he's off.
Oh.
All right, we'll give Jay a minute to see if he can work on his audio. We can't hear you yet.
It's showing that he's unmuted.
Yeah, it's something. Try turning your volume up, maybe something on your computer. And I've tried to talk to, I've got, I believe, Mr. and Mrs. Hart, but they're not replying, so I don't know if they can hear me or not.
And I can't start their video. I have no option.
Yeah, me neither. Dan, can you try to troubleshoot with Mr. Ward?
Yep.
Can you turn your video on so we can see him? Might be easier. And Jay, this is Dan. He's going to try to walk you through. Oh, and there he goes.
Bye, Jay.
Oh, get another headset.
So I don't think there's a lot we can do. I think the issue is on Jay's end. It might be something with the sound or the microphone settings on his machine.
All right, looks like he's working on it. I'm going to go ahead and read the chair's email, and Jay can speak up if he thinks he got it fixed, and we'll see if we can hear him acknowledge him.
Okay.
Just keep saying hello, Jay. All right, so Board of Selectmen, I have a prior commitment and may not make it back home in time for the meeting. I will log in as soon as I get home. In order to make a proper recommendation, the road committee would first need to review the documentation we requested 3 months ago under the Freedom of Information Act. We as a committee do not know what questions the attorneys were asked, nor do we know how the questions were framed, among other things. This information is vital, and we have a fundamental disagreement as to the definition of repair. Black Law Dictionary defines repair as restoration to soundness. Repair means restore to reform condition. I've also spoken to Wendy Garland at DEP in length. She stated the grading and recrowning of a road can be defined as repair. Amanda Pratt from DEP also said that under home rule, we could certainly reimburse for this for the simple fact that the state has not defined either repair or maintenance. All this is necessary in the town meeting making the decision clear. I do not understand how a neighboring town can appropriate $36,000 of taxpayer money to plow private roads, which is clearly not repairs, while the acting selectmen will not assist the road associations in grading and recrowning the roads. Article 43 was a citizen petition approved at town meeting. The selectmen role is administrator decisions made at town meeting. It is unfortunate the citizens and the road committee have not been involved in the revamping of the application. The changes made are unnecessary and unduly restrictive. There needs to be further discussion in the forms of workshops with all parties having a voice. There also needs to be discussion regarding the 3 applications that were returned in November. These applications were submitted in good faith under the old application. The associations were told they would be considered under the old rules. They have been patiently waiting 6 months. In addition, the fiscal year is almost over, and if no action is taken, these associations will lose opportunity to resubmit. Leslie Berlin. Jay, want to try your volume now? No. Okay. So, Ed, I want to reiterate I want to touch on a couple of things she said in there before you get handling it too far.
Yep.
First of all, the road committee would need to review documentation we requested 3 months ago under Freedom of Information. Not true. If you recall, and I've put the information in your packets, on Monday, February 24th, I said, hello, Leslie. The town is in receipt of your Freedom of Information you dropped off last Thursday. I'm acknowledging receipt by law. Per the town policy, I am working on an estimate for gathering this information. As Article 43 began in 2018, it's almost 2 full years. It will certainly take over an hour of the free time allowed by law. Additionally, there will be copying fees. I've attached the policy for you to review. Oh, looks like he's come in again. She replies later that day, good morning, Jennifer. It's not necessary to go all the way back. I will alter the request for everything since town meeting of 2019. So she changed the request. It was also my understanding that a committee chair is exempt from fees if asking for the committee. I will come in and inspect it and ask for copies of specific documents to make it easier and less copy and less. So at that point, I replied to her and said, yes, you are absolutely true that the committee is exempt if you can show me where the committee held a meeting and actually voted to request this information. Because at that point, she was asking for the information as an individual, not as a department, not as a committee. There was no vote from the committee requesting this. They then quickly held a road committee meeting where the predetermined motion was already on the agenda, and the board saw that, if you recall all of this. So on March 4th, sent an email to Leslie. Thank you for the email. A few things. First, the idea that a predetermined motion is already on the agenda is really not a very transparent way of conducting business. Ideally, if whoever is making up the agenda wanted to discuss Article 43, then it would make sense to see Article 43 appear on the upcoming agenda. From there, the committee would discuss Article 43 in public, and if during those conversations someone then made a motion to ask for A, B, and C, that would be a much cleaner way of handling it, rather than going into the meeting with the pre-typed wording of the motion already on there, assuming someone was going to read and make that motion. Nevertheless, so you know, for the future, the committee doesn't have to make a Freedom of Information request. They simply have to vote to want the information. No formal FOI is required. After a vote, the chair notifies the town administrator of what the committee has requested, and we start working on it. Freedom of Informations are designed for individuals, not internal departments or committees. Lastly, due to there not being any date stating in the meeting, I will have to assume the committee wants all information on Article 43, as stated in the motion, going back to June of 2018. You originally told me I could start in June of 19, but this was before the committee ever even knew about this request. Please advise, this is how it ended, Please advise when the road committee is due to meet again, and I will do my best to gather the 2 years of information before that meeting. On March 11th of 2020, I received an email from the road committee chair that says, no meeting date has been set as I will be out of the country for 3 weeks. I will have a better handle on this when it is scheduled in a week or so and will contact you at that point. As the last correspondent. So I just want to put it out there as the Freedom of Information administrator. To start the sentence that they requested stuff 3 months ago is inaccurate. As far as I'm concerned, we're waiting for them.
Yep, and then we all know what happened shortly thereafter, because by the 15th of March, just a few days after, is when everything kind of hit and things shut down.
It's just an add-on statement that's not necessary, that it's been 3 months waiting for something, because the email shows differently.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, so the rest of the email is on you, is whatever, however you guys want to handle. The other thing that Mr. Winchell had asked me when I spoke to him earlier, and I think Elise is online, but as I recall it, and I could be wrong, Ed, although this started as a petition, this was not put on the warrant as a petition article. This warrant article was put on by the Board of Selectmen. Is that correct?
I believe so. Elise had a lot to do with that.
Yeah. Elise, I'm unmuting you.
Yeah,
Elise, can you hear me? Hey, Elise, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect. So remind me, when we started Article 43, I mean, it is definitely true that a petition was created, and I remember some of the verbiage, but with any petition, we always encourage the petitioners to come to the Board of Selectmen first, see if it's something they'll put on the warrant on your behalf, because if everybody can play nice together in the sandbox and not go through the petition process, so we can get on the warrant, that's the end goal. Is that your recollection, that the selectmen put it on, not the petition? Because I never certified signatures, and I don't believe we went through that process.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that either. I don't remember the signature piece of it. So I'm assuming they came to us. It sounded like a good deal. Some of the money was like grant money, wasn't it? It wasn't all just town money. And
No.
So we agreed to it.
Well, I mean, if you look at you can look at the, let me just pull it up, because if it was a petition article, it would be on the warrant just like that, because when somebody submits a petition, that word, I mean, every comma, every T cross goes just like the petitioner submits it. If you have enough signatures, then it doesn't matter if the Board of Selectmen agree with it. We wouldn't have gotten legal advice if we went that way, because it's not up to us to determine it if it's a petition.
I think it was a petition.
Yeah, I think it was a petition that the board agreed to put on the agenda without going through the petition process. But nevertheless, I think that may be irrelevant other than the paragraph that she is referencing. So I guess at the end of the day, in any event, I don't know. I mean, certainly Mr. Ward can give you his thoughts on this application. I mean, the board certainly wasn't intending on putting this through without the road committee's input. That's why, we gave a week's notice and tried to get them here to discuss it.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Perfect. So the questions that I have on the new application is in the general instructions, at the last sentence was routine maintenance. Understand that routine maintenance is not applicable for Article 43, but it has grading, and crowning of a road is vitally important to how the water flows off of the road into the culverts and gets diverted from going into the lakes. So I don't consider that as routine maintenance. I understand where you're saying sweeping, plowing, I don't think is, I mean, that was never under consideration, but it's not routine maintenance. It's, it's upkeep. You have to plow the roads. But the fact on the grading, I think, is a critical piece of maintaining the road and making sure that the runoff does not enter into the lake.
How, if I can ask Jay, how to grade the road, I mean, I know how it's all done and whatnot. How often do you feel it needs to be done?
Well, whenever there's a problem with the road.
Okay.
So if it's pooling, if it's got potholes, that's going to affect the runoff. So it's not routine, it's when it's needed. Same
Okay,
thing
so-
with culverts.
Right. So if a road association came to us 3 years in a row and wanted money for grading, would you think that would be acceptable or excessive?
I would think that they probably have a problem with the road, and maybe that should be addressed. But
Okay.
at least the first time, it should be considered. It shouldn't be just thrown out arbitrarily.
Okay.
Well, all the roads that I took care of in town of Acton, most of them on the southern part here, and I know most of the roads up on the northern part of Acton, on a, what they call a routine maintenance plan. And they get graded in the spring and in the fall. Now, whether or not your guy who grades the road does a qualified job or not, that's not my, whatever, but typical road association has a maintenance plan. It's great in the spring, great in the fall. Obviously, you'll have a washout during a big rainstorm or something, and they have to come out. But that is something that's typically done. It's no different than the town of Acton has dirt roads right now. They get graded in the spring and they get graded in the fall every year. Now, that is something that has to be done so you don't have a problem. It's called routine maintenance. So a road that doesn't do that usually incurs problems because they're not doing a routine maintenance. So at the end of the day, grading the road is routine maintenance.
So my suggestion would be that you allow it and you look at it as it's done in that specific request. So the application that comes in, you determine whether that is routine or if it is truly in need to make sure that we don't have runoff into the lakes.
The whole idea of this, the way we were setting it up, was to have people like York County Soils and DEP, AWA, stuff like that, come in and fix the problems. Not to have this a yearly thing to take care of the same problem every year, to mitigate the problem, not to maintain the problem. So that's why when we were going through this, you have those lists of people, okay? That way there we don't have reoccurring spots that are just sucking up that account, okay? Because at the end of the day, Mr. Ward, what I'm concerned about is this. Unfortunately, this Article 43 only benefits a few roads, okay? And we've proven that because that's only a few roads. And then some of the roads that thought they were going to get approved for it didn't get approved for it. Then you have the other people on other dirt roads, because there are other dirt roads in the town of Acton that are not on a lake, and they get nothing, okay? And it would not be fair. It would be not fair to these roads that are not privileged enough to be on shoreland zoning or on a Great Lake to have their roads maintained when your road would be actually being maintained by what you're asking for. So by doing what we were doing was, okay, let's mitigate the problem. The whole idea was this to be run like a grant. You have an issue, we have one of those three, or we've changed, I think we're changing the word to an applicable source or whatever, to say, okay, this is an issue that we have to take care of because this is a problem to the lake. We all know that dust flies up every year and ends up in the lake. We all know that. You lose so many tons of dirt a year. You're not talking to a rookie here. I've been through all the camp road classes and everything through the state. But at the end of the day, the state will tell you that you have to grade your road in the spring and the fall. It's routine maintenance. And we can go through all this Black's Law and all this other stuff. We can try to find whatever we can. But if you actually go to a state DOT class on dirt roads, they will tell you, you have to keep up on your road, or you will have washouts and you will have these problems. So
Let me just ask the question, have we had multiple applications year after year for grading roads?
Not
this
that I,
year,
If there's no, then I don't see that.
we had 2 this year. We had 2 this year. Well, we signed off on 2 anyways, and then we had to retract on them because, you know, we had one that come in and asked for gravel, to buy gravel, to grade their road, this and that, and we did ask them if there was a washout issue, and they said no. You know, that's why we had to go into doing this, because you had people coming in just because their road was on a Great Lake. It wasn't becoming an issue with the watershed, but because they were luckily localized to the point where, oh, well, we can get it because we're here, that was the problem, and the money's not going where the actual issues are. So by doing the way we're doing it, it's going where the actual hot spots are. It's not becoming a general maintenance fund for a few people. And by doing it the way we're doing it, it makes it more transparent. It makes it so that people who have the knowledge to make sure that these roads need to be done and done right are actually making the call, not 3 people sitting at the selectman's office.
See, I'm not qualified to tell you.
And you're right.
But by putting this on the application, you're just saying you're never going to consider that. And I think that's wrong.
No, see, at the end of the day, if your road is washing out, okay, and it's an issue to the lake, we're giving you a list of people to call. They come up and say, this is going to be done, this is going to be done. You got to regrade this road, you got to recrown it, you got to haul in gravel, you got to do some ditch outs, a little bit of riprap here, and then when you bring that to us, bring that to us, we okay it because somebody other than us said it has to be done.
Let me just read you the letter, the general instructions. The town therefore considers routine maintenance on the private roads, example, grading, sweeping and plowing, as ineligible for consideration. That's not the way you should be doing it. You should be determining if it needs grading to stop the runoff.
When you do a project such as mitigating an issue, okay, there's going to be grading involved. It's the general maintenance part of the grading we're talking about.
But that's not what this says.
what if we just put a clause in there that said that, for instance, grading is eligible every 2 years, every 3 years?
I don't believe that's the right way to go, because what you're doing is you're opening the door to general maintenance. And we're working this as a mitigating issue. This is something there that's why we put in these people there as such as DEP in your counties to come in and make sure to dictate these issues have to be done. If these are that your county comes in, our DEP says, okay, you've got to fix this issue, okay, you've got to regrade this, now you're talking a different example.
See, but I don't think
he's trying to reword it. No, you're rewording it saying, okay, grading. Okay, if we put in there general grading or general maintenance grading, that I can understand that. Okay.
You're still always going to be responsible for this.
We're only responsible for what comes to us. You're right. We are responsible.
So therefore, why do you have language like this? And I don't even want to get into the fact that you start bringing up other roads that aren't on the lake. I mean, this is not for because people deserve.
I'm going to explain to you some, Mr. Ward. The problem you have is here, okay, there are other people in the town of Acton that pay taxes and live on dirt roads, and they get absolutely nothing for this. So it does have something to do with this, because you got to understand.
The Supreme Court has already talked about this.
Okay, and I know that very well.
You can expend town funds to protect Great Lakes.
To mitigate those problems, okay? And what ended up happening, you guys ran with this to make this a maintenance plan. So every year we're going to be paying for the same thing. So
what have you paid for yet? What is the expense?
Because we shut it down until we come up with the right way.
Okay, well,
how much has been
let's
paid
stop,
out?
please. We're not getting anywhere here. Okay.
Out of the $50,000, how much has been paid out?
Not a heck of a lot.
Exactly. So why are we even talking about this at this point?
You had some other questions, Jay?
Yes, I did. So number 5, I have no idea what that means.
Number 5. Attach a statement from demonstrating that the private road is contributing to the degradation of water quality of Great Pond based on the evaluation from DEP accepted protocols. It's only if it is degrading a pond.
Pretty simple.
Attach a statement from demonstrating, so it needs to be cleaned up then, if that's what you, that doesn't make any sense.
That would be, I would think that once you got a hold of, you know, one of the acceptable companies, individuals to come look at, you know, the situation, they could easily give you the statement.
Well, okay, so
the statement.
then just remove the word from, because it doesn't make any sense the way it's written. So attach a statement demonstrating that the private roads, da-da-da-da.
Yeah, you're probably right. Jen, any reason why from is in there that you can think of?
No, I mean, this was a very, very first draft, and, you know, there's probably a couple typos in there.
Yep, nope, that makes perfectly good sense, Jay.
So again, if I just think that we're going down the wrong road by talking about things that never happened yet, and if they do, then you address them. We haven't expended all that much money.
Right.
I want to know what hasn't happened yet. What are you talking about?
Dave, let
Whatever
Jay
you're
finish.
talking about, I'm not talking about
Let Jay
anything.
finish.
You are.
Let Jay finish.
So you're saying that this was all set up to pay for the maintenance of roads. I don't agree with that because looking at the applications that came in, you don't have a lot of roads taking advantage of it. So you're talking about issues that aren't issues. There may be issues in the future, but they're certainly not issues now.
Okay.
So if you could pull out that language that it's ineligible for consideration and see how this goes. I do think, based on what was discussed at previous meetings, that you do have an obligation to judge and look at those applications that were submitted under the old rules and make a determination on it. Because they did it in good faith, and I think towns should be in good faith and look at it like that. And you've got 3 of them that I know of that have been sitting around for 6 months now, 7 months.
It's been a while.
Yeah. And
It's been so long that I don't even remember what the issue was now that we bumped them back. I knew we needed.
I think it was, I don't know if there was an issue. I think it was just that you wanted to have clarification.
Okay.
Moving forward.
You had the concerns from the auditor that came forward. You were working on a policy or procedure. You were supposed to sit down with the road committee.
Okay.
You basically said, stop accepting them.
Yep.
But just as that sentence came out, they were turned in at the same time. They were all sent letters saying that it was being put on hold. But I do have those 3 in a folder. I mean, actually, one of them you had me return.
Right.
But
one did not qualify.
Yeah, I don't recall. I mean, I don't have that whole folder here at home, the joys of Zoom from home, but certainly, and Kim wants to be part of this as well, and not to take away from Mr. Ward, but one member of the road committee, you know, we were kind of hoping we'd have the whole committee show up.
Yeah. I think what we need to do is we got to set up a Zoom meeting with the road committee.
Well, that's what the intent was for tonight.
Yeah. Jay, is there anything else in this that you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think at this point we need to just set up a meeting with the road committee. It'll be a Zoom meeting, and you know, address these. Well, we addressed one already. There's a typo that's taken care of. If we can just find a way to get around the grading part of it.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm not.
When am I? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I was going to ask you when you wanted this scheduled for.
I'd set it up within the next week or so.
So am I doing what I attempted to do tonight at another selectmen's meeting?
No, I think we should just do a separate meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any preference of the night of the week?
Not for me.
No, I guess my best choice is Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Okay.
We could do it after a selectmen's meeting if it works. Okay.
I'd rather have a separate one.
Okay.
You know, the selectmen's meetings, we get done, it's already 7:10 now. We probably won't get out of this till 7:30. You know, I don't want to be up till 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay. Tuesdays, you're busy, Jen, with Shapley?
Yeah, but I can sort it out. Well, let me reach out to the chair and find out when she.
Yeah, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
Yep, Monday's fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it may be, under our policy, I'm probably going to be the Monday out.
Yep.
I'll send an email asking for, I'm thinking, Monday, June 8th, tentatively.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yep. And let me just quickly check June 8th on my calendar. June 8th. Yeah, that works for me, so. Okay.
Now, let me check with Kim. David, do you know if that works for you?
What day is that?
The 8th?
The 8th? Yeah, I'll make it work.
I'll send an email out.
10th.
15th, you mean?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
no, yeah, 10th, sorry. All right, I'll send an email tomorrow and keep you posted to all the road committee.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Good. Yep, thank you, Jay. Okay, new business, sign the warrant.
All right, so there's I think there was one or two minor typos that didn't change anything. I told you we had a conference call. We had a Zoom meeting, Michelle and I, and Paul Poyant, who was absolutely wonderful, went through some things with us. We did try to get we tried to get some advice on Article 4, which has come up a few times in regards to the negative motion that the Warrant and Finance Committee made, because it's misleading and misunderstanding the way the motion was made. But nevertheless, Maine Municipal wasn't able to get back to us on whether or not we could insert. We talked about maybe putting in parentheses clarification of what the ought not to pass failed really meant, but it's got to go to ballot. So. We didn't get that, and unfortunately, we just have to hope that the voter reads it. So we're looking for a motion to actually sign the warrant. All the recommendations, everything's on it. You've seen the final draft. There's a nice, pretty copy in your box.
Yes.
I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. We sign the warrant for the July 14th secret ballot.
Want to add the year to that?
Oh, 2020, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay, I'll second it. Moved and seconded to sign the warrant for the July 14th, 2020 secret ballot town meeting. Any further discussion? No. Okay, hearing none, call for a vote. Dave?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. That's it. Warrant will be signed.
Woo-hoo!
Yes. Great work, both everyone involved. You, Jen, and Michelle, and thank Paul Poignant for giving it a final look to, and whoever else that I probably have missed, because there's
Virginia was the only person with the Warrant of Finance that got back to me, that they reviewed it. So, and the school committee was great. All three of them got back to us. So.
Right. Okay. Yep. No, this was definitely a different year, and it's the help of everybody and help of the Warrant and Finance, and particularly Dennis Long for putting up with the Zoom meetings, which was fairly difficult for everybody. So appreciate it all. Okay, so I guess with this, we'll consider it signed. And okay, next voter letter.
I've been working on a letter because the selectmen talked about doing a letter to the voters. It's a few paragraphs, but I'm going to read a paragraph and pause and see if you have any changes in that paragraph.
Okay.
All right, so dear acting voter, during these trying times of COVID-19, the Board of Selectmen have made the difficult decision to change our annual open town meeting to a secret ballot referendum vote. Please know this decision did not come lightly. However, with the governor's current order limiting 50 people or less to a gathering, there is no possible way for us to hold an annual town meeting with over 2,200 registered voters in the town while staying within the confines of the law. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
For a bit more clarity to those of you who may be unfamiliar with the process, please allow us to explain. Under normal circumstances, each year annually, the Board of Selectmen would sign a warrant with budget questions for the voters to gather and vote yes or no in an open setting. Instead, this year, those same budget questions will be turned into a secret ballot, and voters will be making their choices on Election Day or sooner by absentee ballot if you choose. Okay?
Yep.
Yep.
We recognize that this is a different process than the town of Acton is used to. However, it is our job as your municipal officers to do what is in the best interest of the town, and we believe this is. Some may tell you we cannot wait. Some may tell you we can wait and see if this blows over and have an open town meeting in the fall. But the truth of it is, none of us know what COVID-19 will bring in the future months. Others may tell you we should commit taxes based on last year's budget. However, we have been given the legal advice not to do that because due to the economy's recession, we are not expected to have the same revenues as last year, such as excise tax. Therefore, committing taxes to last year's budget could hurt us more than help us. We need you, the voters of Acton, to trust that we have looked into this and gotten the opinions of many qualified people before making this change. We would like to thank our treasurer, town administrator, and the Warrant and Finance Committee for all of their countless hours of hard work during this process. Good?
Sounds good.
Love it.
Due to these trying times, we have worked hard to present a budget to the voters that, if passed, will guarantee no increase in the tax rate. On the reverse side of this letter, you will see the proposed budget versus the current budget to be raised by taxation. Additionally, we have taken further steps by flatlining most department budgets and freezing all town wages. We have scheduled 2 public hearings on the proposed budget, both set to begin at 7 p.m., 1st June blank and 2nd July blank. Both meetings will be via Zoom. If you are unfamiliar with Zoom, do not have the internet, or have any specific budget questions, please contact the town administrator. Election Day this year will be July 14th, 2020, in conjunction with the state of Maine. We are encouraging voters to vote safely at home by requesting an absentee ballot. This is your option, however, and is not mandated. Polls will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on July 14th for voters who wish to come in personally. However, please bring your patients with you, as we must stay within the state's guidelines as far as total capacity, socially distancing, and personal protection steps in place for both staff and the voters, including wearing a face mask or shield. I feel like I had a closing sentence, but it's gone. So thank you, blah, 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 blah. I found a couple of typos.
I don't think the face mask or shield is an option. I think it's face mask is mandatory. The shield is optional.
Yeah.
Okay, so including I don't know, including the wearing, no, including wearing a face mask. Period.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Wait till my very last sentence.
That's the only thing wrong. Only thing I could find.
I mean, I think that sounds good. I feel like you're trying to, and this is from an administrator piece, you're trying to explain to the voters why you took the road that you took in regards to the secret ballot. I think it's important for them to know that, this is a one-time thing. It's important for them to know that there's no tax increase, that you flatlined, most departments, you've frozen the wages. I mean, those things are important.
Yep.
Anything you want to add, thoughts? I'm going to put some contact information, put it up with signatures. We needed to talk about the public hearing date because I found out today that there's a conflict. You have those minutes right in front of you, Ed? From actually, oh no, never mind. I got them right here. I can't remember what dates we set.
They are
motion made. I feel like it was the 10th. Oh, here we go. July 8th. So July 8th, that date's still okay, and that's the one that has to happen by law. So that date we don't want to change. But it was June 10th, right, David? Turns out there's a graduation that night.
Yeah, my youngest is graduating. I kind of have to go to that.
Well, and it also says a large part of the town will be there. So we could just move that back, Edward, to the 17th, if that works for you.
I believe so. Yeah, that's fine.
So we still have, selectmen's meeting at 6, short agenda, public hearing starts on the 17th.
Yep.
Okay. So, and I wanted to put something in there saying, you know, obviously if you don't know anything about Zoom, you have budget questions, and let them know they can pick up copies of the warrant at the town hall. We'll put them on the website. I'm trying to keep it to one page, but I'm a little wordy, so I might change the font size and add a few more lines. I just want to make sure we give them as much information as we can.
Yep.
All right, so public hearing date has been changed officially to June 17th. Yes?
Yes.
And the July 8th stays the same. So with that said, when would you gentlemen like this letter to hit the mailboxes?
I would say as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as you can. What are you doing at 9 o'clock tonight?
So I would recommend that it not go stale and you not let it hit until about a week before the public hearing.
Okay.
Mail tends to sit and they'll forget all about it if we mail it too early.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Really?
I'm agreeing with you.
You don't say. No, I'm kidding. All right. I'm probably going to have them hit the mailbox like around the 10th or 11th, if that's okay with you.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. You
Just so it's fresh, they put it on the fridge. The public hearing is the next week.
Yep.
We're ready to go.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I think I have it. That's all I have on that, Ed.
Okay. Okay. Item C, beach. I assume this is for the lake beach or no?
What can be done about Horn Pond Beach?
Who?
Horn Pond?
Oh, Horn Pond. Okay.
Horn. What'd you call it?
Horn.
Pond? Pond?
Horn Pond.
Horn Pond, yes. What can be done about that?
I'm a Mainer.
So
Is that where the
Um,
pond is? I'm not familiar with it.
That's the one down by the New Hampshire border, right? Going past the town hall down yonder? Right by the New Hampshire line, but heading towards the vet? Isn't it down that way?
Yes.
So the problem is that it's inundated with non-residents, not socially distancing, it's bringing out a lot of traffic, and the residents have concerns.
Well,
Who owns that? Does the town own it?
the state owns that.
State owns it.
Okay, so that's a state issue.
Where exactly is it now? Is that
Right at the 109, we're right on the Acton,
Okay.
Wakefield border on
right at the
109.
boat launch?
Right at the boat launch.
The same place we've had issues all along.
And that's a place where we've talked about having our sheriff go in there and, you know, do some more patrolling because there's other issues that's going on in there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't think there's anything that we can do. That's state, that's like, I believe that's state property. I'm pretty sure that's state property, and that's something, you know, we don't have really a whole lot of jurisdiction on that. You know, the wardens and sheriffs, the state police have to be taking care of that. You know, the same thing as the down here, the Melson. This is something that, you know, if you have an issue, you call your law enforcement. We don't have anybody other than our sheriff that can enforce that.
I feel like we had a letter from somebody, didn't we, Ed? And I wish, we had a letter for somebody tying that some time ago. I just can't remember what it said about that.
I don't remember. We had put up signs, I think, down there and things of that nature. But yeah, I would start with getting a hold of our deputy and maybe the game, you know, see what his thoughts are on the game wardens.
Okay.
You know.
All righty. I will see what we can do. I'll reach out to Deputy 70.
Okay, great. Anything else on that?
No, sir.
Nope. Okay. Public comment. Do we have any?
Did not receive anything.
Okay. Once again, we are accepting public comments by email or even a quick phone call to the town administrator's office until we get this thing straightened out and know where we're headed. So we still want to hear from the public. Announcements. Planning board Zoom meetings are going to be what, every Thursday in June?
Yeah, they decided that they were going to meet every Thursday, so those will get scheduled next week.
Okay. We don't have times or anything on those?
Joyce is on. I can unmute her real quick. I believe it's 7 o'clock. Joyce, can you hear us?
She's still muted.
Dan, can we unmute Joyce?
Trying.
Joyce, if you can find the little thumbs up thing, if it's 7 o'clock, can you give us a thumbs up or whatever?
I feel like, no, it was definitely earlier than 7 o'clock.
Okay, 6 o'clock.
I don't know.
Well, we can find out, and it'll be on the town website.
Yeah, they'll all be posted.
So, okay. Okay. I think that's all we got. I wanted to make sure I thanked everybody for the hard work on the warrants. I did that. I don't have anything else.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there she is.
Hey, good evening. Good meeting, everybody.
Thanks.
We'd like to meet at 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't 7.
Okay.
Right.
It's 6:30 for the Zoom meetings for the planning board. Every
Right,
Thursday.
and that's going to be onward until we get out of the Corona world.
Okay. What? So that's in June. So what's the first Thursday in June date?
Did we say the
We said June 4th.
4th? June.
4th would be the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joyce.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Yeah, so with that, I don't have anything else. There's no other announcements, I don't think. The governor did extend, as we said earlier, the sit-down in restaurants. When did she take that out? Another amazing...
She didn't put an end date on it.
Okay. I'm going to leave my thoughts right there.
Yep. So you can have outdoor dining. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, and I think that's, I mean, I like eating outside. I think some of these restaurants will be quite...
if the restaurant has that to offer.
Yeah, if they have...
I went over to New Hampshire this weekend on my bike, and they've already started doing that.
Yeah.
And it's all right. I mean, they're adapting. They're putting tents up, which honestly, I mean, I've gone to a couple places, drove by, and they were packed in like sardines, but they were outside. So, but they're adapting to it, and it's working.
Good. No, like I said, I don't think this thing will go away anytime soon, but we're either getting used to it or it's the curve is flattened out and we're moving forward. So.
Well, there was quite a few new cases today.
Was there?
Mm.
Yeah. I'm leaving my thoughts alone.
I'm just giving you the facts as they've presented them to us.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, anything else, Dave?
Oh, I'm good, man.
Nope. Jen?
No, sir.
No, okay. And we don't have Kim, so I guess with that, thank you all. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion we adjourn May 27th at 7:27.
I'll second that. So, call for a vote, Dave?
Yes.
Yes, and I vote yes. With that, good night all, stay safe, and have fun. Good night.